In this video, we're going to show you how to install the brake caliper on your Ford Taurus located behind your rear wheels. Using a 19mm socket, loosen and remove the lug nuts. With the lug nuts removed, you can now grab that wheel and remove it and set it aside. Now that we've sprayed this down with some rust penetrant, I want to focus on this little collar right here. The cable comes down into this bracket and there's two little tabs that keep this locked into place. Now I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers and I'm just going to pinch those tabs in. Just kind of pull on that a little bit. While holding pressure on that with those tabs released, I'm going to use my pry bar, lift up on this. Lift this up. I want to pinch those tabs a little bit and start to pull that housing out. Once you pull that up and out, we can go ahead and release our cable. Let's go ahead and remove our brake caliper. There's two bolts on the back right here, 13mm. Let's go ahead and loosen and remove these. Use a pry bar or a small screwdriver. Go ahead and work this out. Be prepared that your brake pads might fall out. We do want to go ahead and support this here up and out of the way. I'm going to swing that up over here for now. Remove your brake pads. Remove the brake caliper bracket. On the back side, we have two bolts. These here are 15mm. And remove that bracket. Now we have our new brake caliper here on the bench and we want to prepare it for installation. Now we're going to use our 13mm socket and we're going to loosen and remove the two slide pin bolts here. These are the caliper bolts. I'm going to spin those out. Now if the slide pin is spinning, we need to go ahead and hold that. I'm going to use a thin wall 15mm wrench on the actual slide pin itself. Remove the caliper bolt. Pull those bolts out and set that aside. Now all of the preparation is on the caliper bracket itself and we're going to jump right to the slide pins themselves. So you're going to pinch that boot, grab that slide pin, twist it and pull it out. Now these do come with some grease on there and it is a limited amount. Now we don't want to layer a whole bunch on here. We just want to make sure that this is coated evenly. Pull that boot back and down and insert the pin. Work that in, working out any of the air in there and push it onto the boot and go ahead and rotate that around and do the same over here. Our purpose here is to go ahead and make sure that these slide pins have some good lubrication on there to last for years to come. And once you have these slide pins greased up, I'm going to go ahead and stand this up. And right here are where the metal slides go. So we have 4 of these. Take some of that silicone paste and just put a little bit here and here. Now we don't want to goop it on. We don't want giant globs of it there. We want a thin coat. Wipe off your glove. Go ahead and take your slides here and pop those on. Now when installing this here, it has a large tab on one side, a tiny tab on the other side, and the tiny tab goes on the inside, and then the clip goes on the outside. Taller portion of the slide goes towards the back, and then the lower side goes right on the landing right there. Flip it over, repeat the process here. Now if you notice, we're not putting grease on the slides themselves. You do not want to do that because dirt will have a way of sticking to everything and it's going to cause your brake pads to bind. So keep that slide nice and clean. Now our caliper bracket is ready for installation. Once we do that, we'll go ahead and install the caliper itself. Take the new bracket and your bolt. I'm going to get the upper one started. Then we'll go ahead and get the bottom one started. I'm going to go ahead and run these down as far as I can by hand. I'm going to pop the ratchet on there. We'll snug those down. Let's go ahead and install your brake pads. Now we want to go ahead and unthread this from our caliper itself. Now there's two different ways you can do this. We can spin the caliper off of this line here, or we can go ahead and unthread this and then follow it up and unbolt it here and then spin it off. We're going to go ahead and start here by spraying this down with some solvent. I want to make sure that that port is clean of any debris. We do not want to introduce any kind of dirt into the brake system. We use a 15mm wrench. Now we are going to bring this over this way here. I'm going to bring this down. We have a catch can underneath. We are going to lose some brake fluid, so hold the line and you can go ahead and unthread the caliper. Make sure you're wearing safety glasses in case this line should pop off and fling some fluid. Go ahead and take that line and start to thread it in to the caliper. Go ahead and grab that 15mm wrench. I'm going to snug that down. Before we throw this up onto the vehicle, we do want to give this another spray with some solvent. We don't want brake fluid getting on those pads. Make sure that you get all that residual fluid off. The other thing you want to pay attention to on your caliper is make sure that these little notches are at 12 and 6, lining up with the arch here, because the brake pads themselves have a little bump on them that line up with that. Set that into place. Get these bolts started. And our slide pin is here is rotating, so we're just going to grab our wrench, 15mm, Go ahead and gently snug that down and snug that one down. So go ahead and grab your 15 mil wrench, come on over here to that flex hose, just give that a little bit more. Want to make sure that's good and tight. Now right on the top back portion of our brake caliper, we have a rubber cap. This is our bleeder screw. We're gonna go ahead and pop that rubber cap off and set that aside. We're gonna use our 11 millimeter wrench and crack that open, loosen that up. And what we're doing here is we're going to let the fluid come down our flex hose, fill up the reservoir behind our piston, and it's gonna push out any air. So we're gonna watch for air bubbles to come out of this. And there we go. We see some foamy bubbles popping out. And what we're looking for is a solid, steady stream of clear fluid without any bubbles in it. And there it is, no more bubbles coming out. So we can go ahead and tighten this down. Just make sure that it's snug. Gonna spray that down with some solvent to clean up that brake fluid. And wipe it down. Pop on the rubber cap. Now we need to go ahead and bring our parking brake lever up here so we can go ahead and hook our cable and then reattach it up top. I like to use a pry bar underneath it, but it gets really close inside here. So I'm going to use the assistance of a pair of pliers just to allow me to get inside here and lift this up. Pull the cable back. And then release that. We're hooked and the cable housing is locked into place. Now at this point here, our caliper assembly has been installed and we did a gravity bleed. You now want to go ahead and hop into the vehicle, pump up that brake pedal and make sure that that pedal feels nice and firm. Go for road test. If the pedal feels soft and spongy, you can go ahead and repeat this process one more time. If it's still feeling soft and spongy, you want to go ahead and proceed to the brake bleeding process for the entire vehicle. Grab your wheel. Get that put onto the studs. Now we're going to go ahead and install all of our lug nuts by hand, and once we get them started, we'll go ahead and snug them down. When doing this here, it's preferred if you do it in a crisscross or star pattern. Now let's go ahead and torque them down. Now let's go ahead and torque down our lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds. Now preferably you want to do this in a crisscross pattern. And you're all set. With the hood open, go ahead and locate your master reservoir right here. I want to start by cleaning the top of this here, get rid of all the debris and dirt around here. Now we do have a drip mat here just to protect the other components. Give that a spray and wipe this down. We want to prevent any dirt and debris to falling down inside that reservoir. Now, two things we have here. We have an evacuation tool here. This is going to be used to suck the fluid out. You can sometimes use a turkey baster, but on this particular model, the port to gain access to the fluid is very small, so that may not work. You're gonna need something with a smaller tube. We also have a container on the side to put that fluid when we remove this. Move that cap, set it aside. Try and feed this down as far as we can. And the goal here is just to remove as much as you can. You may not get it all. Now when we got our vehicle in here, it was already low on brake fluid. It's normally filled up almost to the top there. So we also recommended to be wearing safety glasses when you're doing a job like this. Now once you evacuated as much fluid as you can, we're going to go ahead and remove our container here and get that out of the way. Now on your master reservoir here, there's going to be some sort of marking where it says max and a minimum. So go ahead and top off the reservoir to the max line with some fresh fluid. On this particular vehicle, it actually states here to use your DOT4. Here it is. Go ahead and grab that cap and secure it. With the vehicle raised and we have our wheels off here, we're going to start our brake bleeding process at the right rear wheel. Now this procedure is going to start at the right rear wheel, then you're going to go over to the left rear, continue over to the right front, and then we're going to end with the left front. Now right here on our caliper, we have a rubber cap covering our bleeder screw. Yours may or may not have this. It is not critical to the operation, but you want to go ahead and remove that cap if you do have it. Now inside of our car, we have a person that's going to go ahead and pump up our brakes and help us with this procedure, and we'll walk you through that as we go. We're going to go ahead and use our 11mm wrench, and we just want to go ahead and crack this free just a little bit. Make sure we can loosen this. And there it is. We can move that. And we're going to put our reservoir on here. And this is going to be used to capture our fluid as we start that brake bleeding process. Now when we're ready, we're going to have that person inside the vehicle pump up their brake pedal about 3 pushes, and they're going to hold pressure on that. I'm going to crack open this line here and let that fluid push through. Once that pedal inside the vehicle goes to the floor, that person is going to let me know that it's at the floor. They're going to hold that pressure. I'm going to tighten this, then they're going to release, and we're going to continue to do this process 2 to 3 times, or as many times as it takes to get rid of any of the dirty fluid, as well as the air bubbles in the line. So let's go ahead and start that process. If you go ahead and pump up the brakes. All right, they've informed me that they're holding that, so we're going to go ahead and loosen this. You see that fluid come up and out, and they're at the floor, so snug that down. And we're going to repeat this process until we get some good clean fluid and no air bubbles. Continue, please. Go ahead. And we'll do this one more time. All right, we'll snug this down. I'm going to go ahead and bring my reservoir down so we can go ahead and open up this port here. Let that fluid drain down in there. Go ahead and give this a quick spray with some solvent. Clean up any of that residual fluid that might have dribbled out. Go ahead and put that rubber cap on. You want to go ahead and repeat this process for the left rear or the driver's side. And then we're going to meet underneath the hood and go ahead and top off the master cylinder reservoir. Now that we've bled the left rear wheel, let's go ahead and top off our reservoir. Go ahead and install your cover. Make sure it's secured. Now that we've topped off the reservoir, let's go ahead and continue with the right front wheel. With the wheel cranked out, it gives you the best access. Go ahead and locate your bleeder screw and pop off the rubber cap if you have it. Grab your 10mm and put your hose on here. And go ahead and pump up the brakes. Okay, pump it up. Go ahead. Now we have a solid stream of fluid coming out here. Pliers on this here just because the port here is a little loose. You're done there. Go ahead and use your spray solvent. Clean up any residual brake fluid here. Install the rubber cap. Now you want to go ahead and repeat this process on the driver's side front. Once we do that driver's side front, we're going to go ahead and top off the master cylinder. Now that we've finished bleeding the brakes, let's go ahead and top off the reservoir. Go ahead and install your cover. Make sure it's secured. Now that we're done bleeding the brakes, you want to go ahead and hop into the vehicle, pump up the brake pedal. Now, for any reason, if that brake pedal should still feel mushy, you want to go ahead and repeat this process a second time. Once that pedal feels solid, go ahead and install your wheels and torque them down to 100 foot-pounds and take it for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.